Hey there, welcome to day 1119 of What's She Up To Now. Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here at your service with my magnifying glass and my soap framework and my journals and more magnifying glasses and lifelines and timelines and all kinds of crazy stuff. And I'm thinking about our idiom today for Supersize Your Business, which was a journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. And that's so true of absolutely anything and everything we ever want or ever desire in life. We just have to take one step toward what it is that we want, and the next step will appear. So often growing up, I believed that I had to know everything about how I was going to accomplish a goal or achieve something. Like if I wanted to make something or create something, I wanted to buy a stereo. I remember saving up for about 2 years because there was a stereo I wanted to buy, and I picked out the stereo and I mapped it out. I had a picture of it in my room and in a book, and I carried it around in my purse, and I'd look at that stereo whenever I wanted to squander my money, my hard-earned money back then, on something that I didn't really need at the time, and I would just save it up till I could afford this awesome stereo system, which traveled with me and moved with me to college, to Texas when I lived in Texas, back again to Green Bay, where I started my first corporate job. And I had that, actually I had it till I got married and had my son, and I think I finally got rid of it when we moved from, trying to think if I brought parts of it with me to the last house I moved out of, where we lived for 25 more years. So I earned this thing that was a part of my life for decades. And I used to think I had to map out every single thing I had to do to earn all the money or to create and make that thing happen in my life. And what I've learned since, through trial and error, is that my job is to take, number one, know what I want. Number two, take that first step toward it. And that first step might be something really small, or it might be something big. It might be a giant step and leap of faith, like starting my own business, or it might be getting married or getting into a relationship, or it might be something small, a small step like hopping on my phone or on the computer and researching, asking a question about something that I'm curious about or interested in. That might be the first step toward creating the thing that I want, or creating something that I want in my life, in any area or aspect of my life. So there's so much power in beginning and just getting started and taking action. And since then, I've always known to break things down into little pieces. Like if I had a big goal, I would break it down into little pieces. The stereo, for example, I didn't have to buy the whole thing at once. I told myself I would break it down and I would buy each component. So my goal was to earn each component in a particular order, which I'm sure I have it written down somewhere, but I don't know where it is right now, how I wanted to get that and make that happen. And then my reward was to get to the big goal, this awesome stereo system I wanted, was actually going out and buying and getting each of the components and putting it together and building it to create the ultimate sound system that I wanted to create at the time. I remember this was back in the 70s, right? The 1970s, and what technology we had back then versus what we have now, night and day. I mean, we can carry around in our cell phones or in little iPod Nanos more music than I ever owned in my entire life. And I had thousands and thousands of albums, if anybody knows what albums are. But it all started with my first album, getting my first album, which happened to be an Elton John album. Don't know why Elton John was my first album, but it was my first album. And building from there. And then I switched, of course, to cassette tapes, because cassette tapes were big. I'm that old. And to CDs, finally switched to CDs. And then everything went electronic. And music has actually played a much smaller part in my life in the last decade for sure, probably longer. But for someone that was so, I loved music so much earlier on, and maybe I love music because I cannot carry a tune. I cannot sing. I sound like a rusty gate hinge. Even my children used to say, "Mom, please don't sing." As soon as they were old enough to cover my mouth or tell me to stop singing, they'd let me hum, but I wasn't allowed to sing. And then I thought maybe it was a fluke, but my granddaughter did the same thing, and I'm sure my brand new granddaughter, as she gets older, she'll probably ask me to not sing as well, which is hard because her parents are the types that are just going about their day and they burst into song. It's so funny and so delightful. Or they'll be doing something like random, like the dishes, and they'll just start singing, or cooking, and they'll just start singing and dancing around the kitchen. And it's really fun to be around. And I try not to participate because It's not one of my strengths. Singing is definitely not one of my strengths. So a single step, the power of that first step, that single step, needs to not be underestimated. And the other thing is the single daily action. If we do one small thing every single day to move us toward what we want, we're inevitably going to get there. And we're going to get there a whole lot faster than we actually believe is possible, because a single step is not just an individual action, an individual step. They become cumulative and they build upon each other, and our muscles and our habits and our routines get stronger, and they create momentum, and we get faster and faster and faster results, which moves us toward what we want all the more quickly and easily. So we can do that with our physical health. We can do it with, excuse me, my nose is just another fool. I'm going to kiss another fool today. A single step. We can do it with our finances, our relationships. We can do it with our physical health, our mental health, our emotional health, our spiritual health, by doing a little bitty thing every day. I have a lot of single daily actions that I do, and I try to have one for each of the 7 areas and aspects of my life. And what I've done is I've made those habits and routines and rituals. I've built those things into my morning routine, into the things that I do during the day automatically, into my nighttime routine, what I do before I go to bed. I've built those single daily actions into my routines and my habits so that they happen on autopilot now. I don't have to think about them, but I'm automatically being moved toward my goals and objectives, even on the worst day, or even on the best day, even on a day that I get thrown off my normal routines. For example, this morning, I'm on live doing my videos much later than I normally do, because yesterday was my son's 30th birthday. I can't believe my son's 30 already. It was his 30th birthday, and so we had his daughter for a sleepover, and we had a little party, you know, just with his dad and his sister and husband and brand new baby, and just a handful of us to celebrate his 30th birthday. So that meant Grandma has not got her morning routine at all. So after she went home, then I started to do my morning things, my morning routine. But whether I start them at 4 o'clock in the morning like I did yesterday, or 9:30, I think it was probably 9:30 or so before I started today, it doesn't matter. It's the same routine. I go through the same steps, the same rituals, the same habits. Why? Because they work for me, and I know that I'm guaranteed to get the results I want if I just do them. So why would I not make them a permanent habit or process? Guess what? Permanent doesn't mean forever. It means ever-changing, continually improving process or habit. My morning routine, people talk about and they sell their morning routine, and they teach you their morning routine, and they coach you on their morning routine. But the most important thing is to create what works for you, and to create the flexibility in what works for you to change and morph and grow as you do. The things I used to do in my morning routine, I would say there's probably 3 things in my morning routine that I still do that I've done since the very beginning of creating my own morning routine. Everything else has morphed and changed over the years as I have grown and changed and wanted to do different things throughout my day and throughout my life. As my goals and objectives and the different areas and aspects of my life have become less or more important, that's how my rituals and processes and personal procedures change. So single daily action. Never underestimate the power of our habits, either to create what we want or to create what we don't want. For example, it goes both ways, right? I have for a long time had really good habits about my health and my wellness, especially since my sudden cardiac arrest back in 2010. I count every day above ground as an absolute positive blessing, an opportunity to be here and show up and be me and do the things that I love to do. But that requires that I pay attention to my health. I take care of my health. Well, COVID-19, not a good excuse, but I let some of my good health habits get impacted in a way that wasn't absolutely positively beneficial for me or in alignment with what I'd been doing. And so I find myself in 2021 in some physical situations where I don't like exactly what's going on right now. And so it's like anything else. You know, we think we're going to have this straight trajectory to our perfect health and our perfect wellness and our perfect fitness and our perfect business and our perfect home and our perfect relationships and our perfect everything. But what happens is we have that vision. We always hold that vision. No matter what, we want to make sure we're keeping that in mind. We always want to focus on what we want. Not what's going on right now, but what we actually want. And so if we're doing that, single daily actions, single steps will help us to get there. But that doesn't mean we're not going to have little stumbling blocks or challenges or roadblocks or problems along the way. I can guarantee that you will face more challenges than COVID-19 is dishing out to you throughout the rest of your life. One thing that we're guaranteed is that we're always going to be looking at, facing, and dealing with change and challenges, whatever you call them. But it's up to us to decide, how do we want to see those challenges, see those changes. When something changes, I actually get a little excited now, and it's like, oh my God, I get to make a different choice, a different decision. I get to change my routine. I get to ask myself the SOAP framework questions and automatically determine what is going to be in my best interest based on this new information, this new change. And it might be a big change, or it might be a little change. Like having a sleepover. Having a sleepover and having a birthday celebration for my son was absolute, positive, happy, delightful, amazing change. And so am I going to be upset about that or frustrated by that? No way. I'm going to embrace it and just say, hey, this is life. This is how life works. And I want to savor every single moment of it. Even the grumpy ones, even the frustrating ones, even the times I have a headache and a tummy ache. I'm still going to say, okay, well, obviously I have a headache for a reason, or a stomach ache for a reason. Why is that? I'm not going to get all mad and be just moaning and complaining. It might be moaning and complaining in my head, but I'm going to be like, all right, well, why do I have a headache all of a sudden? Is it because the weather's changing dramatically? Where I live, the weather changes dramatically and frequently, like every day. And it's extremes in weather, right? It's super duper hot and super duper cold. So that wreaks havoc on those of us with health challenges, right? And so it's just part of my environment. Now, could I always choose a different environment? Absolutely, positively. But guess what? I'm here on purpose, so I embrace all of the challenges that are mine because of the choices that I make. I choose to live in Wisconsin because that's where my family is. That's where my amazing granddaughters are. That's where my amazing children are. So that's where I am for the foreseeable future, for right now. Doesn't mean I won't get a place in a warm environment where I can go. I was always thinking Texas until this week, and now I'm rethinking the whole Texas thing. It seemed like every time I visited my mom in Texas or my sister, I would bring a cold spell with me. Well, I was supposed to go this week, but the baby was born early and I ended up not going. So I would have brought that total bad winter weather with me. But instead, my other sister went, and her husband, and so they were there with my mom during this cold snap and weird time. So it was good that I didn't go, because I definitely didn't want to participate in that. We have enough challenges with winter in Wisconsin, and we're used to it, so I'm perfectly happy to be here and do that. And we got a brand new baby early, so that's super exciting. Our Do One Thing Every Day That Centers You challenge was about being optimistic, which is sort of what we're talking about. And it's about being optimistic instead of pessimistic, because being pessimistic never really creates anything good or moves us toward what we want. If we're negative about something, we just keep feeling worse and worse and worse about it. But if we're positive about it, great things can happen. Fine. Did I talk about Get Up and Go Challenge? We're rolling right into the SOAP framework to talk about our financial situation, our financial health. There's 7 key areas of our life: physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, financial, and relationships. We've done physical through the SOAP framework one day at a time. We've done relationships through the SOAP framework one day at a time. Now we're going to do financial through the SOAP framework one day at a time. S, the O, the A, the P. The S, our tool today, was the journalistic framework. Who, what, where, when, why, and how. What is my current situation? What do I want it to be? And we ask that series of questions for each to get a very clear picture in our mind of where we are. What is our current reality? And what do we want to design it to be? What do we want our financial situation to be? So that was our Get Up and Go Challenge today. You can always join the Get Up and Go Challenge for free on the Get Up and Go Challenge Facebook page, of course, or we have a private group too in the Get Up and Go Challenge, same name, on Facebook as well. And I set one up on LinkedIn, but I haven't really established it or did it yet. I just basically set up the page and thought I would do this framework there, but decided I've been doing it on Facebook. It's a super easy, free platform and framework to do it on, and so that's where I share the Get Up and Go Challenge. That's it. That's all I've got today. I hear a baby crying, and I'm going to go see if I can lend a hand because I hear she had a rough night. Let me know if you have any questions or if I can help you in any way. Otherwise, I'm going to be trying to catch up throughout my day. I wish you an absolutely amazing day, amazing weekend, amazing life. And I'll, of course, be with you tomorrow to let you know what I'm doing as I transition from the brick and mortar world of business to the online world of business. Have an awesome day.